Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dirty Air. I'm Tony. This is my sister Katie, and yet again it's another Sunday. And we had a good race today. We had a road track race, first one of the year. It was a pretty good show. Had a few maybe gripes issues with it. Maybe it was a little bit long. I think maybe something like that. But beyond that, we have some thoughts on the broadcast, and we'll talk about paint, and we'll talk about all the good stuff that goes on with the race. What did you think about the race today?
Like you said, it was a little long.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the first road course, but it just, like so many other races, it felt like it kind of dragged on for a while. The excitement did pick back up there at the end, but
it was a good finale. I'll give that to the race. I feel like it maybe made up for some of the possible doldrums. It was also interesting right towards the end. They didn't really discuss it, but they talked about how many laps. Who won the race?
Chastain.
Yeah. It was about Chastain and how many laps he led. And he won the huge bulk of them. There was not very many lead changes today at the race. It was a bit stagnant. And I think I was talking about it when we were watching. It was like, let's just shorten everything by like a chunk. Mm-hmm. Like a 10% chunk, a 20% chunk, somewhere in that realm. I think racing will be better.
Yes.
And I think it'll eliminate this problem of us being even like pretty hardcore fans watching it every week and being a bit like bored ourselves. That's where it gets lost in the sauce is when they get kind of strung out, running out. It was kind of interesting. There was a strong disparity between cars today on the road course, I would say. More so almost than other races.
Yeah.
So far this year, which was kind of interesting. But second year at the track, I think it's an interesting track. Mm-hmm. They got like a whole like Dolly Parton World like amusement park going on near it with like rides and stuff.
Yeah.
It's an interesting layout. It doesn't feel as long maybe as some of the other road courses. What do you think? Like seems a bit quicker. I don't know what the actual mileage is.
It's just under 3.5.
Okay. I feel like maybe at least Watkins Glen is longer or something. Mm-hmm. It was about like 20 turns, I believe they were talking.
Yeah.
So it just felt like it's a cool course. I like the actual road course itself. And I think maybe from watching the highlights of like the trucks and the nationwide that maybe take a little note from those guys. I think some of the racing gets a little bit more chancy, racy, and exciting as a fan because the lap counts aren't as long.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with this, I mean, I know they're attached to their numbers with all of these races.
Yeah.
They didn't mention it today because it was some arbitrary number. Why 68 laps?
Right. It's just kind of an odd number to choose. Like, just throw
Why
a
not
dart.
50? Something just a little shorter because for I think every consecutive week so far this season, the broadcast ran long.
Yeah.
It ran an extra 40 or so minutes from the allotted time. And then all of the post-race coverage just feels rushed.
Yeah. There's not a lot of time left.
Yeah, because they ran out of time half an hour before the race even ended. So there's no time to discuss it after the fact.
Right. They've used up all the good or whatever, and it gets lost. So I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit, but like a bit about like the Fox thing today felt kind of like a little bit extra goofy. We did sit and watch almost the entirety of the show today, like from pre-race to end.
Yeah.
Number one, obviously glaring is like the end of it doesn't have much coverage or wrap up. Doesn't even have like much of a highlights reel going on that they talk about. They only really seem to talk to one other driver sometimes, maybe two. So I could use a little bit more of that. I think we've been here all day. Like, give me a little bit more of that. The pre-race show was like very, very silly. Like we said today, there was a whole segment because they were in Dallas and that's where Dazed and Confused was shot. That they had a Raced and Confused segment.
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, Austin. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Raced and Confused. Yeah. All of the scripted pre-tape segments are just cringy.
Yeah, they can go. They just feel old. They feel like bad dad jokey and like stifled, or they're just kind of more like just a personal piece that's kind of just overly in depth. Not a lot of talking about, like I said, maybe the local area, like places, other events that are going on there, like some of that kind of action. Or maybe talking to some of the other teams or spotlight on the other teams. I think that's going to be and has been a complaint of mine is like talk about the entire field, not just the people that are coming home top 5 and winning everything every week.
Yeah, and there's a lot of young drivers out there. Do more of the getting to know these new faces segments.
Yeah.
They, of course, only focus on winners and whatnot. So,
right, yeah.
we got to see Chase Briscoe's little get-to-know-you segment with his weird history of never having a hot dog or apples.
Yeah, he hadn't ate. He hasn't nachos or something. He hasn't ate like all these food. That's weird.
Yeah, he's
there's
weird.
better stuff to talk about probably than drivers' hot dogs and shit.
Yeah, and speaking of Chase Briscoe, you need to get a haircut. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, dude, that hair is.
Is there nobody in your life? I mean, you're married. Has your wife not mentioned the comb over?
It's pretty bad.
It was pretty bad. We didn't want to rag on him when he won, but when he took his helmet off after winning that, with his terrible comb over flapping in the wind, and we got to see that again when he took his hat off for the national anthem.
Yeah, it reminded us of like the tragedy that lies there. Yeah, you gotta cut that off or something, bud. It's gotta get tidied up, man.
I mean, you're winning races now. You're gonna be on TV. You gotta pick it up.
Right. There was a really random, interesting part we picked up on the race today. There was a Subway spotlight of like the best team, best team award or something like that.
Yes, the Subway Right Combination Award given to the best driver and crew chief combination.
Which is like a combination for your sandwich and chips.
It was awarded to Ross Chastain and Phil Surgeon.
Right.
It was a kind of ham-fisted way to incorporate a Subway ad into the broadcast. But then we had Clint Boyer adding his own little jokes to the segment. We weren't quite sure what he said.
We had to rewind it once or twice.
We had to rewind it a couple of times.
That might be the right combination, but don't look too far for that combination. There's another signature coming, I'm telling you.
But beyond that, I thought today was an okay day. I thought it was maybe a little bit just, in the long run, those long, late stages before it kind of got racy again was maybe the downfall of it. So I don't know. How many diggers would you give this one?
Maybe just 3 diggers this week.
I think 3 diggers is a fair appraisal of today's race. Good course. It feels new still. Like I said, and it feels kind of different, which is good. I'm still going to always champion that.
Just the second year, and last year this one was in the rain, so.
Oh right, it was a little melee. So this one was
we got to really see it for
how it was gonna act for real without like a weird, fluky element to it or whatnot. So I think that that's a fair estimate on that as a 3 digger race. After diggers, we got to talk about our other favorite thing about racing, that gosh dang paint.
Yep. And surprising us this week with another fantastic paint job 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, my.
This one, so remarkable, he's getting best for the week, William Byron in the 24.
Willie B!
Yeah. Last week he had that striking Liberty University car.
Flames, yep.
This week he had a Raptor, which is protective liners. And it was a weird, like, truck bed texture.
Like a liner texture.
Yeah. Like a gray.
Pebbly or whatever. I don't know how you describe that. But.
And the logo and the numbers were a nice kind of neon yellow with a little green in it.
Yeah.
So it was very unique color on the track, so it really stood out.
Yeah, and it kind of like it's a little dinosaur scratches in it, I think, too, which is kind of cool. I like, hey man, I like Jurassic Park. That's cool.
Who doesn't?
But yeah, who would have thunk Hendrick twice in a row? Not us when we started this. So.
Yeah, but as we've remarked, their secondary schemes are pretty
really good or really bad over there, which is funny. They're such a legendary team, but even if you go back, starting in Jimmy Johnson or Gordon, sometimes they have boring old cars, but. Whatever.
Anyway, following up in our number 2 spot, we've got Harrison Burton in the 21, which was for Freightliners this week. which had the kind of Tron futuristic paint job.
Yeah, that's
black with a neon blue.
right. It was like a futuristic outer space kind of affair. I don't know what other way to describe it. Like, but we saw it right at the end of the race, and that's what I saw. I was like, yeah, it looks like Tronish, or like kind of like computery. And we've seen a couple of those kind of like, hey man, we're in the digital age. It makes sense.
Yeah. And there's not with Freightliners, but the other ones have been kind of tech.
Yeah,
oriented brands advertising.
Sure. But yeah, definitely dug on that paint scheme for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then coming up number 3, our favorite, Kyle Busch, with a surprise Skittles car this week.
Hey.
We often lament that there are so many candies that could be on his car. It's almost a shame to run the same M&Ms over and over.
Yeah, it's wild because that company even used to run other things that they don't run, like a double mint or the Skittles.
The occasional Snickers.
Yeah, Snickers is kind of rare. It used to be more frequent, but there's so many like brands in that company where they could get cool schemes. It's a wonder they don't run them. Anyhow, this is a good one. It felt like a classic old school scheme. They made good use of the side as well. I thought the side hit was very well done on this one.
And a very unique take on that, having confidence in your brand, not even putting the word Skittles on the side.
Yeah.
It was just lime is back because you didn't even need to see the name. You looked at that and immediately knew it was a Skittles car.
Delicious Lime is here for your flavor sensations.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Candyman 32nd today. There was a little bit of a, we always say a good paint scheme wins, but today the top 5 was not doing so hot. But they look good, okay?
Yeah, they sure did. Another good-looking but not performing car, Buescher, 17, in the Fifth Third car.
Yep.
Which was nice. We haven't seen that as a main paint scheme for him yet.
Yeah.
We have seen the little secondary spots, but it was a interesting shade of blue.
Yeah.
Different shade set.
With like greenish a little bit.
And with the metallic blue number.
Yep. Always good.
Overall,
always good.
Pretty striking and, nice to see a new paint scheme.
Yeah, definitely.
But rounding out our list, we actually have a repeat because we loved it so much the first time we had to include it again, and that's Ricky Stenhouse, 47 with the Sunny D car, which just delighted us all over again.
Just taking us right back to the cafeteria days, old school, lunch money, got that Sunny D.
Yeah.
Brighten up your day.
Unfortunately, it didn't brighten up Stenhouse's day. But he ended up 37th.
Yeah.
37th.
Yeah,
so,
it's not a.
Unfortunately, the good paint didn't translate into good performance this week.
Normally we would say otherwise. But once I jotted that down, it was kind of funny this week.
Surprisingly poor performance from Larson.
Oh yeah,
I expected him to do a lot better.
That lousy Hendrick paint scheme is what.
Well, that's not entirely true because now we have to move on to the worst paint schemes.
Oh, that's correct. Worst. The paint jail. Who's going to paint jail this week?
Well, I was just thinking Hendricks, Chase Elliott, did pretty well today, but Lumar, no. Not doing anything for me.
Yeah, it's like a tannish, whitish, off-whitish hood that's kind of...
Transitions to red. The only nice thing about it is it's a nice shade of blue for the numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe you could improve that paint scheme by moving that blue to the hood.
Right.
And having white numbers instead.
Right.
Just,
Yeah, it's just a little bit off and doesn't feel right. Like we said, Hendrick, when they miss good and hard. So
and
we got to remind them.
Even their secondary schemes can disappoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I thought that green and white car was like, what was it, 41 car?
41, Cole Custer.
First of all, I love Cole Custer, the name. That's one of the greatest NASCAR names could have ever heard. He needs a gigantic mustache is what he needs, though.
He really should grow one.
He really needs a mustache to round out that name. But that paint scheme was awful. I think it was the worst of the week.
It wasn't a great paint scheme, but it was actually for dog cancer research. So
I don't know.
Don't want to go after them too hard. That seems a little cruel, but...
All right. Well, who else are we eyeing up then?
It could have been better. what was it? 15. 15.
Oh,
was
that it was just blue.
Yeah, like a Ford Visa or something, just a solid.
Oh yeah, it
blue.
had when they went into the
Credit
pits.
card?
Yeah,
It was like a
just
blue car with a blue credit card on the hood.
Trash.
Yeah,
That
didn't
thing
make
was trash.
sense.
All right, well that's fair. I just thought that green and white one was bad. Yeah, we'll give it to the blue one. I think that's
improved. Maybe a larger picture of the dog or something.
yeah, more dog action on it. Yeah, they didn't have time for any paint or stickers. But yeah, so this week it was okay. I'm gonna give it a stamp of okay on this week.
Yeah,
It was
fair.
okay. It wasn't mind blowing or anything too wild. Great finish. It was a great finish. There's always really good finishes at road courses, but
Yeah.
yeah, we will see you for next week. Is Martinsville or is it Richmond?
No, Richmond next week.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, we'll see you guys next week for Richmond. Talk about some paint, talk about some diggers, and talk about the driver's hair too. Apparently that's part of our show now. So that's it for this week, guys. Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Amen.